Don't we all wish we could sometimes take a little bit of the stuffing out of ourselves? And sometimes we need to add a little bit if we're making Santa or something. So the first thing we need to do is make our patient very comfortable. Taking the blood pressure and checked all the vital signs. And I think this one's ready. I need this one to be a little bit slimmer to reflect the person that I'm going to make in this custom family hangout. It's an extremely tricky procedure. First thing you're going to do is go on the back side and make a little slice and pull out some of the stuffing. How much is up to you. You can stitch it shut, or you can just put a little duct tape around the middle. I'm going to stitch it shut. It really doesn't matter what you use or what color thread because it's going to be covered up with clothing. Now you can see she's much more slender. If you want the whole torso more slender, you could pull it in with a little duct tape. Just wrap it around. The clothing will cover it. You may have to adjust the clothing slightly. Now if you wanted to make someone who is expecting, you could take that little bit of stuffing and put it in maybe a little piece of t-shirt or whatever you want and stick it on the front. If I was going to do this, I would stitch around the edge, but there it would be. I'm not actually making a pregnant figure, but it could be really cute. You can get a little sense of how it might look by kind of wrapping some fabric around it. It's really quite cute. If you wanted to make something, you could adapt the pattern slightly or make a t-shirt or shirt pattern that came down to the midriff, cut it, and gather the front over this cute little bulge. To make the male figure into a Santa, got to fatten him up a little bit, so I'm going to show you how that's done. You can either take a piece of quilt bat that is bonded together, or you can just take some loose batting and stick it around. It's not a very exact science. I usually wrap something around the fabric, the batting, to keep it kind of into control. And remember that you'll have to adjust the clothing a little bit, but that's not hard to do. Just wrap it around, use the t-shirt pattern instructions, and just wrap it around for the initial width instead of using the width that is listed on the pattern. You can kind of fudge it a little bit. If it's too big at the end, sometimes I pull up the clothing and make a few tucks in the back, since most times in a family hangout the back won't even show. You can also do this for someone you want to represent as a little bit thicker than most, but in general, most people don't like that. So here is a figure that needs to be a little bit shorter legged and armed, and maybe a little bit littler, more petite. And I just wanted to use the figure I had, so let's get going. First, sorry ma'am, we'll just put some of the stuffing out. And I am going to come back and sew that up and maybe pull the shoulders in a little bit with some duct tape or masking tape, or even just some strips of fabric wrapped around. I want her to be a little shorter. So here we go. This is the most painful part. I just want her to be a little shorter. So I'm going to make sure I cut off the same on each leg. But I'm going to just kind of whip stitch her together like that, because it doesn't really matter. No one will see under the clothing. Her arms should probably be a little shorter too. Best to do them at the same time. So here we go. She'll be a little bit different than the youth size, a little bit wider proportions. So that might help you make a shorter person. Whoops, gotta get the legs the same. after we're done, put a little color back in their cheeks. Help them have that post-operative glow of health. Okay. Wow. Looks like the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz after the monkeys pulled him apart. So here she is, all bandaged up. Her arms and legs are sewn on, if not beautifully, sturdily. They do have to hang by their hands unless you choose to make the hands go to the side, the arms, and you'll have to adjust the clothing. You can do that and make a different sort of a figure. I like to put a sock on the front. I cut a couple little snips in the toe and put the legs through. For underwear, just a little lining sometimes. This isn't quite high enough for a bathing suit, but if it was higher, it could go right up and be stitched on as a bathing suit, and then stitch under here to help everything be a little more solid. She's looking kind of rosy, so I guess we were successful. So goodbye from our family hangout figures. There's just so many ways to have fun with these. I hope you'll enjoy your creations. There have been times in my life where I thought I'd look better with a little less stuffing, but remember, you're beautiful the way you are, and you're blessed to be able to do all the things you do. Happy creating.